Was that your stuff?
I don't know if I'm hungry or about to shit myself. G'day and welcome to episode 1 of Guns, Hoses and Stretchers.
Oh, fuck, I wrote staging area wrong.
I'm joking. Are you going to ask questions straight up? So you're just going to say, welcome to episode 2. We're talking about this. And then bam, fire into
I'll shut the fuck up. G'day and welcome to episode, I think it's 6.
I think it is 6, yeah.
Yeah, 6 of the staging area. I'm Hayden Mack. That's Simon Roylance.
As the producer, you should know what episode we're up to.
G'day.
G'day, mate.
Don't run this
Hello,
off the
everybody.
rails again. All right. As you can see, we've got some new technology in front of us.
Some great new technology. in
So,
front of us.
yes, we're just...
Boom. When you do that, I just think of R&B Friday as soon as you do that
R&B.
now.
I thought more of the siren at the footy.
Nah.
No.
It's not as good.
Okay.
Nah.
Fair enough. Yes, so we are here. We're back. And we go with our topic this week. Because I've noticed that it's a lot in this week's news. I don't know if you have. Youth crime.
Youth crime. I don't know because I haven't really been here for a week and I haven't really seen much news for a week. So,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I've been listening to the radio all week. And basically, every morning there's been a police report in regards to youth crime. And they're
right.
stealing cars.
Back to stealing cars.
Yeah. So
Carjackings or just stealing cars?
it might be carjackings.
Probably carjackings.
Yeah. But it
not good.
just seems like it's out of control lately.
I think it's been out of control for
For a
a
while.
while now. Yeah.
Did you, when you were in the force, did you ever come across youth crime? Or like carjackings and stuff like that?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
No, not really. So, I mean, sure, there was the occasional carjacking, but generally wasn't really youth related. And I wouldn't say there was really a great deal. I mean, there was youth that were involved in crimes. Yes, that was happening. That was, that's always going to happen. But it was, sort of, I guess your normal stuff, graffiti, maybe theft of things. They might have gotten fights every now and then. All that sort of stuff, that sort of general stuff you would normally associate kids doing in that crime space. But it's definitely become a lot worse, hasn't it? In the last couple of years, it's become really bad. They're, heavily involved in gangs now. They're carjackings, home invasions, armed robberies, like serious assaults. People have been killed in the last... here in Melbourne alone, I think there's been 3 deaths this year already.
Right.
Not 100% sure on that, but I think there's been 3 deaths already this year.
Well,
Through
young
youth.
people.
Through young people, yeah. Youth being involved in gang-related stabbings and stuff like that. It's crazy. I mean, when we grew up, this stuff didn't really happen. You got in fights.
I've never been in a fight.
You've never been in a fight. But
I'm lucky.
Yeah, you are lucky. You had fights and things like that, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
extreme. Well, I feel like it's extreme anyway. I don't know. And then you look at Queensland. Queensland's really bad, and they've been screaming out for a long time. The communities up there have been screaming out for, it feels like a year or 2 now, probably close to 2 years, saying we need more police, we need more intervention from community groups, more intervention from other people, because the youth crime's just, it's literally out of control up there, and it doesn't seem like their premier is doing a great deal about it from what we see and hear anyway.
Yeah. But that, again, how fast can politicians act? Like, it's all got to go through processes.
Look, yes and no. I'm not going to pretend that I know how that politics side of it works, but I will always fall back on, and we can now always fall back on, how quick did they make things happen for COVID?
Yeah, okay.
And I know they can say that, but it was a public emergency, people were dying or people were going to die and we had to stop the spread of it. well, this is no different. People are dying because of gang-related culture with youth. If they're not gang-related and they're just doing youth crime, then they're still dying. There's been, kids stealing cars and crashing them and killing themselves and killing their friends who were in the cars with them. So isn't that enough to act? Young people being killed in, horrific circumstances, or young people being killed because of gang-related violence or whatever it may be. I'm pretty sure if you're a politician, then you should be acting pretty swiftly and making change. We know through the Constitution, we know that politicians can make those decisions by themselves very quickly and make changes very quickly. So do it. Stop sitting around all the time.
That's a fair point.
Mm.
But let's go back to the beginning of what could cause this. So why do you reckon children or youth are drawn towards criminal activity?
From the ones I won't say dealt with because I think that's the wrong word. The ones that I've had contact with over my years in different agencies that I've worked in, even when I was doing politics, I had some contact with some parents and some kids who are involved in sort of youth crime related issues, whatever it may be. I think there's a few things. I don't like to say it because I think that there's connection with individuals versus what they do and don't believe, but things like gaming, look at Grand Theft Auto. You can do some pretty serious stuff in Grand Theft Auto that makes it seem like that's okay and it's appropriate, and then people go and mirror that stuff. There's some people who will then go and mirror it because they become addicted to it and they think it's okay. Yeah, 100%. I've heard young offenders saying that they used to do it in the video game and then they thought one day they'd do it in real life.
They wanted to reenact it.
They wanted to reenact it effectively.
Oh.
Yeah, and then they kind of get addicted to it to a certain degree. Movies, another good one. Again, I love, you and I both love our like crime movies and all that sort of stuff. The Underbelly series and all those things. But for you and I, we're able to watch it and almost view it as a documentary, which is kind of what they're supposed to be viewed as.
Yeah.
We kind of view it as a documentary, we view it as a way of it's going. And obviously not all those kind of movies, some of the facts are changed and whatever, all that sort of stuff, but they're kind of telling a story. People like you and I and other people can watch it and it doesn't affect us. Other people watch it and they become excited by it. They become interested in it and they go, that's kind of what I want to go and do. There's certain aspects of the community right across Australia, not just here in Melbourne, right across Australia, where there's still quite a fascination in things like the Los Angeles, back in the day in Los Angeles where we had all those like gangs that were doing their street crimes and their street war stuff, one gang versus another. There's still some people to this day who believe in all that sort of stuff, who think that was fantastic and kind of want to be immersed in all of that. So I think there's that side of it, and then there's probably power, money. For a lot of them, believe it or not, it's a sense of belonging. It's kind of like it becomes their family. So, and for whatever reason, maybe they've got, maybe they've grown up in a dysfunctional family or a family that doesn't provide them with the love and the nurturing that they need. So then they go and they get sucked into being a part of a gang or whatever it may be, and that becomes their family. So I think there's they're sort of some of the reasons why they go and do it. Actually, funnily enough, the other day when I was heading over to South Australia, I was listening to another podcast. We were just talking about the guy earlier, Gary Jubilee, who's got the I Catch Killers podcast. He had a guy on there. I found it really fascinating. It was a 2-episode guy on there called Matt Law, I think his name was. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Matt Law, who's an ex-motorcycle gang member who's now come out and he's on the other side. He's come out of prison, he's on the other side, and he's doing a whole heap of really good things now to try and stop other people going into that life and trying to help people who are in prison when they come out to have a better path and try not to go back into the path that they were a part of that led them there. And he's, it's quite fascinating to hear his story and all the things that happened to him when he was a kid and all the people who missed all the markers and all the points when he was growing up, that would probably lead him in that direction. It's a really fascinating podcast to listen to, just to hear someone from the other side say, this is why I got into this. This is what happened. We need to be doing better in all these spaces. And now he's one of those people who's out there who's trying to be a part of that change for prisoners and, even for youth. So, it's things like that we don't hear a great deal about, and we should be hearing more of that because we need that. Clearly we need it. Mm-hmm. It's very clear that some of these young kids, these young offenders, need some direction, need some nurturing, need some love. Dare I say it, they need probably some love and some real strong leadership in their lives to help them not go down that path, because it's just a waste of lives. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I would have thought when I was at school, I can remember doing police in schools program.
Yep.
And all that sort of thing. And that's what I would have thought would drum it out of people. It did it for me, I think, because I've not got in trouble with the law. But
I think the problem there, mate, is, and again, anyone feel free to tell me otherwise, but if we look here in Victoria in particular, the program that you and I used to do when we were in school, and I know we were a few years apart, but the program was still the same, that program doesn't exist anymore as far as I'm aware. Right. Hasn't for a number of years. I grew up with a guy, we used to call him Senior Sergeant Jeff Ranger. He was never a senior sergeant. We just called him Senior Sergeant Jeff Ranger. But I think he was just he was a senior constable. Not just he was a senior constable and very experienced. But he used to come to our school every week. Every week he was there, and he spent the whole day there with all the kids doing all sorts of playing football with us and cricket and foursquare and down ball and, Tiggy and, he came into the classroom and they delivered that policing programs. It was fantastic. It's a great program. And whenever we saw him out and about in the community, everyone would always come and say, all the kids would go and say hello to him, and he made a really good connection between kids and the police. Mm. That program doesn't exist anymore as far as I'm aware. We still have what's known as youth resource officers in the police force these days in Victoria, but they're generally engaging with people who are young offenders, and it's not a proactive go in schools thing because I don't know why. We clearly need more of them, and we clearly need them back in schoolyards so that kids can start understanding and appreciating and working with the police. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the police are the be-all and end-all. They're not the only people that are responsible for this process. There's a lot of other people who need to be on board as well, but that's one of the many missing key links that we need to sort out as soon as possible.
So, how else then, do you reckon there's another way, other than police in schools program, is there other ways of trying to help veer these kids off the path of crime?
I think there's a number of things we could do. First and foremost, the politicians need to pull their heads out of their asses. I'll say it right now. This bullshit where they keep saying on the media, we don't have a gang problem. We don't have a gang culture. There's no issues here. That's bullshit. We know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. The police knows it's bullshit. So stop saying that. They're only saying it because they want to protect tourism. They want to go, if we say we've got a gang problem, people won't come to fucking Melbourne. Well, people are still going to Queensland, and Queensland have openly said they've got a youth crime problem. People are still going there because people expect that things will be okay when they're there.
Yeah,
and they're probably right. It probably will be okay when they're there. But so we've got to, first and foremost, we've got to stop doing that. We need to stop, saying that that doesn't exist when it does exist. Police obviously need to be a part of it. We need to have good police in schools programs, and we need to have them out and about more. We need more police on our streets to be more proactive and not reactive. In other words, we need more police walking through shopping centres, walking through skate parks, park areas, places where we know youth are hanging out. Doesn't matter if they're committing crime or not committing crime. The police need to be out there. There need to be more police on the streets, walking the beats like they used to, engaging with youth and engaging with the community in general to let them know that they're there and talking to people, all right? But really interacting with that youth in particular, and letting them know it's okay to come and talk to them when there's a problem. We need strong community leaders to start standing up and saying enough is enough. We can't keep going down this path. how do we work with the police and with the communities to get these young people out of these, out of this lifestyle. They may not be in gangs. They may just be kids who are just running amok, but they're going a little bit too far with what they're doing. So we need to, community leaders to stand up and say, how do we get these kids out of doing that and into something that they might enjoy where it's going to be interesting? We need people in the schools. And I'm not saying it's the teachers, because the teachers have already got enough frigging work to do and the principals on that, but we need programs within the schools to identify these kids that may be going down that path, or kids that we know are already, well and truly down that path, where there's programs for them in school to teach them and to help them understand that there's a better way of living your life. There's a better way of, if you want power and money and notoriety and all this sort of stuff, there's other ways to do that where you can do good for your community and for yourself and still have all that stuff that you really want in that process. There's ways of doing that. A lot of these kids are normally disconnected from school. They're not good in school for whatever reason. So maybe we need to look at making sure there's something that we can do with them if they go, well, I can't concentrate in school and I can't do this and I can't do that and this is not good for me, it doesn't work for me. There should be somewhere where they can go then, where they can be worked on and helped out to get through their what needs it is from an educational perspective that they need to help them stay out of that lifestyle and feel like they're achieving something that's going to help them get somewhere in life. Because a lot of these people a lot of them don't feel like they're achieving anything, they don't feel like they're going anywhere, and they see this, that's my family, they will protect me, they will do X, Y, Z, but in the long run, it's not going to work out for them. It's not going to be good in the long run, so we have to show them that that's not the way to go. So yeah, community leaders, schools programs, police, politicians need to start doing a bit more about it. Media needs to stop talking shit about it as well and start, showing what the real problems are, because the reality is the government can be blamed for a lot of this stuff because they're not doing all these other things. So how about the media go and talk about that instead of, just showing what crimes they are committing? How about you go and talk about why they're actually doing it? Go and talk to these young kids yourself and find out why they're doing it. And we need to look at the home structure as well. Home structure is a big part of this. So if these kids are coming from potentially dysfunctional families where they don't feel loved or supported, or maybe there's danger within those families that they're trying to hide from or run from, and being a part of that life helps them feel safe or whatever it may be, then we need to look at that. And we need to see how we can help in that space. Otherwise, this situation is just going to get so much worse. And people who bury their heads in the sand and go, you know what, it's not my problem, it doesn't affect me, I don't need to know about it, I don't need to do anything about it. To a certain degree, I understand where they're coming from. I kind of get that. But at the same time, these things end up always becoming everybody's problem at some point. Do you remember a few years ago, a perfect example of this, remember a few years ago when we were having an issue with the police and the government were saying we didn't have a gang issue in Melbourne. It was before COVID times, and they were running amok on Friday and Saturday nights in the city. There was fights, brawls, people were out with their kids at restaurants and there was massive fights breaking out, chairs were getting thrown, there was hundreds of people involved in these issues. If you're sitting there and you're out with your family and you're having dinner and all of a sudden these things are occurring around you, you're now a part of that.
Yeah.
When you're now sucked into that and your kids are witnessing that. And then you might get caught up in that. You might get injured yourself, or your kids might get injured or something, whatever it may be. So we've got to look at it and go, you know what? It's a whole community problem. Everybody, doesn't matter where you live, it's everybody's problem. How do we fix this? Because out of all of this, there's always innocent people who get hurt along the way. And to be honest with you, the most innocent people in this whole process, which is going to sound really stupid when I say this, but are the people who are committing the crimes. Because generally speaking, somewhere along the lines, they've been allowed to fall through the cracks and no one's been there to provide them the support that they actually need, the love, the nurturing and the care that they actually need to not go down that path. So they need just as much support as everybody else around them does to try and stop these things from going on in the future.
That does sound very strange, Philly.
Oh, it does. 100%. I agree with it. It does sound strange. But it's what needs to happen. It's not I used to be a big believer in whack with the big stick. You know, like
Bring back the biff.
well, not bring back the beef, not that kind of, but
Throw
you
the
know,
yellow pages
I
at
was yeah, snap the pencils. No, let's not go there. But it was like I was a big believer in that. You did the crime, you go, you do your time, and you make it hard, and they won't come back. I don't think that works. I'm pretty sure. I'm convinced it's not working at all. We need to look at a different process. I'm not saying reward people for bad behaviour. You don't do that, and there's times where some of these people need to be locked up. But when they are locked up, we have to be doing everything in our power at that point to make sure that when they get released, when they come back out the other side, they're not going straight back into that environment. Or if they do go back to that environment, that we've helped them or taught them ways of dealing with that environment that they're going into so that they can hopefully pull themselves away. Or know they've got support where if they need to get out of there, get away, that the support's going to be provided to them. We can't just keep having this revolving door through the criminal justice system, commit a crime, get slapped on the wrist, go back out, commit another crime, come back in, slapped on the wrist, go back out, commit a crime, slap on the wrist, go back out, commit a crime. All right, this time we'll lock you up. We lock you up for 3 months. We put you into an environment where you're dealing with people who are the same level as you or more violent or more aggressive than you, who may be or may not be in a gang, who then coach you to come and be a part of them, because that's the brotherhood and the support whilst you're in there. When you come out the other side, you now owe us, so you're now going to be a part of it and continue to do those sorts of things. That's not working. That's just all we're doing is creating a cycle of crime, effectively. So we need to be doing it better, because I don't think deep down, I don't think a lot of these people, let's take the kids in particular, these youth, I don't think a lot of them want to be in the position that they're in. But once they get too far in, then they're in, and it's what it becomes for them. So I think we need to be doing a lot more in that space than what we are right now. A hell of a lot more.
Well, the thing that you always hear, it's on the news or on the radio, they want to start pushing people into national service or young youth into national service. Do you think that's a good idea? Or is that a thing that would help? Because I don't think these people with guns would be a good idea.
Look, I understand the argument. I do understand the argument that people bring up about the national service, and I'm not saying it's a bad move. But if we're going to do that, then there's got to be some parameters around it. You can't expect to send these people off to war at any time. All right? So they've almost got to be kind of like reservists where they only assist locally, like within our own country, all right, with their own state, whatever it might be. You can't just send them off there and say, you're going to go do this, and there be no reward at the end of it. Because there's going to be a lot of people who go, I'm not going to the military to do national service if I get nothing at the other end. Now, some countries you've got to do it regardless, and it's seen as your rite of passage, and that's what you do. But for a country like us where that's not been the process in the past, then we've got to be really careful how we do it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Them doing some kind of form of national service might give them a bit of pride, a bit of self-belonging. It might help teach them to deal with things better, potentially, issues that they've got within their lives, stuff like that. It'll give them a bit of discipline, that's for sure, which is good for everybody and anybody. Hell, I could probably do with some more discipline, to be honest. So it's good in that sense. But if they're going to be in there doing national service for a period, 2-3 years, whatever, what else are they getting? Because when they come out of national service, where are they going after that? If they don't sign up to stay on and do full-time military or sign up to be a reservist in the military, then what's happening after that 2 to 3 year period? Because they're still young.
They get recruited by ISIS.
Well, might not be ISIS, but they might. But they can certainly get recruited, and then now they've got these skills that are probably a bit better. So, are we making sure that when they're doing national service, that national service coincides with some form of apprenticeship, or some sort of degree, or some sort of other training whilst they're in there to help that person get to where they want to be? Maybe they go, I'll sign up and do that national service process. No worries, I'll go do that. But when I come out, I want to be a mechanic. Okay, over the next 3 years whilst you're here, you will work with the military mechanics or whatever it may be, and we'll get you qualified so that when you come out the other end, you've got a qualification as a mechanic, whatever it may be, heavy vehicle, light vehicles, whatever, and away you go. You know, and we'll help you before you leave. We'll help you try and find a job so that you've got something to walk into straight away. That may help these people, these young kids. I don't know. But if we don't try things, and if we don't look at things, and we don't talk to community leaders, and if we don't go and talk to them themselves, like the biggest thing here with like youth in particular, it doesn't matter if they're involved in crime or just in anything else, the one thing youth generally feel like they're not getting is being listened to.
Mm.
So you have to go talk to them and say to them, why did you join? Why did you go down this path? What happened to you? Tell us. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to hold against you. Let's make the environment comfortable for them where they can do that talking and tell you what's going on so we can start to work out how do we help these people, because every single individual person is going to be different. They're all going to have different needs. They're all going to be there for a different reason. We would help them. Otherwise, it's a revolving door for youth, and then that becomes a revolving door for them in their adult life to keep going through adult prison as well. There's a lot of people in adult prison who also went through the youth system as well. And we just keep expecting, if we keep putting them back in the same environment time and time again, they're going to change. I think it was Einstein. Einstein said only a stupid person would continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Something like that. That might not be the actual quote, but it's something like that. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should? No, because then it doesn't matter. Because when I was thinking about the older days in primary schools where they used to flog children and belt them, wouldn't. But then still, you ended up with probably kids that
You're still going to end up with people who
well behaved.
Yeah, I don't. That shit doesn't work.
No,
at all. Just belting people doesn't work.
So giving them the care and attention that they need may be the answer.
Well, to be honest with you,
to find out what their needs are.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of love, care, and nurturing that needs to go on. Even for the toughest of the toughest, there's love, care, and nurturing that needs to go on to find out what's going on with them, so that we can help them, you know, and give them the support they need. Because deep down, believe it or not, all of them want to get helped. They don't really just want to sit there doing what they're doing, but some of them, a lot of them, just they're stuck. Once they're in there, they're stuck, and it's not right. Our youth is meant to be, you know, the future leaders for our country. Yet there's a lot of them who at the moment are slipping through the cracks, and it's not even just in youth crime; it's in youth in general. You know, you can go in a lot of places these days, and you have a look at youth suicide rates in this country. Massive, absolutely massive. That tells you there's a problem. So you forget the youth crime bit altogether. Have a look at youth suicide. Why is that happening? Okay, so again, we need to look at all those things. Our youth is literally our future. So if we're not going to help them, and we're not going to, you know, look at different ways of helping them, then realistically, we've only got ourselves to blame. Moving forward.
No, that's fair enough. But I guess if anyone's got anything to contribute on this, you can send us a message on Facebook, at the staging area. What else? We're on Instagram, TikTok. I nearly said Snapchat, but we're not.
We're not on Snapchat.
Rumble, YouTube. Get in contact there, or even send us an email, tsa@militum.com.au, and have your say, and we will get your correspondence if you've got anything to contribute, and we might do a Q&A. Yeah, and we'll do Q&A.
Q&A. Sounds good.
Or mailbag, whatever way you want to look at it.
Mailbag. You can reach us at Lockbag 667 Melbourne.
Lockbag. Oh God, that's the old days.
The old days.
Lockbag 9999.
Cartoon Connection and Hey Hey Saturday.
Oh no, I can remember. Well, what was the one that I was just saying? I think it was the Funniest Home Videos one.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Lockbag,
yeah,
double nine,
double nine, double
Crow's Nest, New South Wales, something. Okay, it's so weird that stuck in my brain.
It is very weird.
I know that.
Clearly
I think
you're a
Hey
Channel
Hey
9
at Saturdays was. Oh no, I can't remember the number, but it would have been Bendigo Street, Richmond. No, I can't remember it. Anyway, or
Youth crime.
what about phone numbers? Can you remember phone numbers from back in the day?
No.
What's this one? 131166.
131166. I don't know.
Pizza Hut.
Oh, Pizza Hut. Yeah, okay. That's what. Oh, what's his name? Who bit his tongue off?
Who?
He bit his tongue off.
Who bit his tongue off?
The dude from Pizza Hut ads. Dougie.
Oh, Dougie the pizza boy. Why did he bite his tongue off?
I think he was in a car accident. He bit his
Oh,
tongue
okay.
off.
Right.
I could be wrong there, but I feel like we should Google that. I'm pretty sure Dougie, the pizza boy from Pizza Hut, bit his tongue off.
Bit his tongue off. Oh, wow. Well, I bet you the pizza probably tasted better.
Dougie, randomly, if you're listening, sorry if I made that shit up, but I don't know why, but that is in my head that happened to him. That's why he stopped being the Pizza Hut guy, because he couldn't talk anymore.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look that one
So
up.
Googling
Next
that later on. to
Next
find
episode.
out. I don't know how we went from youth crime to Pizza Boy Dougie, but anyway, whatever.
So
Welcome
yes,
to the staging area.
that's the staging area for this week. I've been Hayden Mack. That's been Simon Roy Lance. Hooroo.
Toodles.